This is Michael Lehmann-Horn, CEO of Magic Multimedia from EDIUS.NET. And with me is Alex, the product manager of EDIUS. And we are here at IBC 2024. And yeah, there's some nice news about EDIUS 11. And I would like to talk a little bit with Alex about them. So what is Grass Valley showing here at IBC?
Yeah, it's great to be back at IBC, and we're showing new updates for EDIUS, including its own features, such as new features such as support for auto color correction, also new updates in Mync, its new storyboard, long-awaited storyboard feature, and also we're showing new links with our Grass Valley amp and also Framelight X.
And many people came to the EDIUS pod and they were a bit surprised because we have a special machine there standing today, which is the new European or EMEA turnkey system for EDIUS. And obviously it has 3 screens if you want. It's an option, but it's an optimized system for the use of EDIUS, and I had the pleasure working with it now over the days, and it's totally robust and super fast.
It's very cool, nice setup, and I think it's attracting quite an attention to people who are coming over to see us.
Yeah, especially obviously the 3 screens, and it's wonderful to have one screen just for the preview, one for the timeline and the monitors, and then all the bins and additional windows. So that's pretty nice. And there's another thing which we are showing, and after this short introduction we'll go a little bit more into details. We're showing more AI tools for EDIUS, and they are not like directly integrated. They are using the EDIUS the hub API. So there is a support now from EDIUS to allow other tools to interact with the database, and we are using that, and we have some very nice demos here, and we get a lot of people which are very, very interested in this. So, but Alex, let's start with the news which you announced at the beginning. So we have an auto color filter. Now, in general, I think I remember EDIUS 11 already had an auto color filter. So what's new with the new one?
Yeah, so it's a completely new design from scratch up, and it's basically a more, it looks at the color space properly, and it it changes the color to the, perfect state with adjusting the brightness and also the color range. Well, the beta version we have here, there are still different filters for different color spaces, but you say probably in the end of the year we'll see the final version which will recognize the color space of the clip and put it into the color space of the project, right? And yes, I tested quite a lot with all different kind of footage, and I must say, it's very easy nowadays to grade. Just use this filter. Even footage where I think, well, technically it's correct, I put the filter on and say, oh, okay, that's even better. So, what is your impression, or what did the development team say about this filter? Yeah, we also did a lot of test comparisons with other similar functionalities in other software too, and we hope to tweak it to the best status, even compared to other products. And the ways that it's adjusting, so for example, when you're like converting HDR to SDR or SDR to HDR, other than just doing the conversion, it'll also adjust the coloring in the picture image to the right sort of comfortable range.
I would say there's some magic happened, because I really don't understand how it works, but the result is great and it's super fast. So I think many people will just love it and use it. And maybe also an interesting information, when you look at the auto color filter which we have, which comes from Product as a plugin, which is the Pix Enhancer, it's also great because it's a dynamic correction. So this is very good if you have situations which changing light situation or something. While the new color correction filter, the auto color correction filter, is working static. But this allows you now have two filters to choose, because we have also seen that the dynamic filter sometimes gives you results which you wouldn't expect because of the changing conditions, while this one uses I would say optimize and then
optimization to the whole clip. Yes,
exactly. So that it's really cool. And the other thing where many people were quite excited is from your team what we are showing here as a beta version. That is Mync 11. So what's new in Mync 11?
So I think a lot of people noticed that when we first released Mync 11, it was missing the storyboard feature that we originally had in the earlier versions. And the reason for that was because of the new architecture, that capabilities to share the contents between multiple clients. The hub architecture was now implemented with the Mync 11, and unfortunately we were missing the storyboard feature in the beginning. But we finally got around, and we're actually improving it a lot more. Compared to the previous version where it was more of a storyboard lined up straight, now it's more of a timeline where you can actually build a timeline, and also together with background music, and also with capabilities to add like graphics or titles. You can bring in like a quick title or graphics with alpha and layer it upon the video. You can also apply simple transitions, and that sort of simple timeline can also be imported in EDIUS and used as a sequence. Yeah. And that can also be shared among other EDIUS Mync clients if you're working on an EDIUS Chorus Hub system. So yeah, it gives us, we're hoping that this new feature will give much more broader workflows to the customer.
And you know, I have a perfect customer for this already. I know from a professor, he has tons of videos doing his his lessons, and he's not a video editor, but of course he knows, okay, for this lesson I have the recording from a PDC camera from the university, and I'm using like this map and this picture and this logo, and he would be able to like select that and put it together, but not really edit it. But he could have everything in that storyboard, and then somebody, probably a younger guy who is capable of really editing, would take that, bring it to EDIUS, and just continue and do all the fun stuff then in EDIUS. So, and I think there are probably many customers like that where you just want to do something rough, you put everything together, and then it's set. And I think when I was testing it, it was really nice because you're not really like creating and saving and exporting something. You're just doing this, and literally while you're doing it, it's available in EDIUS to continue. I think it's very, very nice. And also the idea of seeing this is HTML5, right? It's a HTML5 video editor. Wow, this makes me thinking what you can do.
Yes, we hope to have. We're looking at it to, improving it more in the future, and hope to provide more functionalities and better workflows.
No, it's really cool, and we got really nice reactions to that already. So it's good to be here. I have to say I'm a little bit sorry that we are late with our video, because we thought we would have more time to do the video, but we had so many people coming to the booth, asking questions, wanted to see the new functions, the demo, and that's why it took us a little bit to get some time now. It's our lunch break. Yeah. No lunch for us today, so we do the video. Yeah, so sorry for the delay, but and so this is about Mync. Then maybe we take the turnkey later. But talking about the new AI features, which are not like typical internal features, and I think that is also, if you look like to our competitors, they come to the show and they say we have this new AI feature, and the approach of what EDIUS is doing, it's not like using just this particular feature. It's more opening up, and we have the option on our own to integrate features. So
our approach was to provide an SDK set for the new hub architecture to allow partners to develop that kind of integration towards EDIUS and Mync. Yeah. And And thanks to members at MMM, we've been able to see new good features at the show today, and also from our current third-party bundles for from Acon and VideoStar. They have provided us with updates with better integration with AI technology in EDIUS.
Right. Yeah, so let's start with that. So we have a new Acon version of Acoustica, and you know Acoustica is bundled in the EDIUS edition version, which is basically the standard version. So it's a full-featured audio editor, which now also offers the possibility to download different AI models, because we have seen the standard version, which we have delivered in the beginning, comes with a tiny model. So it's a small file, which is basically included in the installer, which is fine. But the problem is when the language is not English, but Korean, Japanese, or even like Croatian or something, we don't get good results in the speech-to-text process. So now, with the new version, which we probably will see very, very soon, you have a downloader where you can select larger language models. So the largest one, I think, has 3 GB, and yeah, it's going down. I would say if you take the medium-sized one, it's already really, really good. And I've been testing here with customers from Greece, from Israel, from Turkey, from Croatia, from Finland, from Sweden. And it really depends a little bit on the language, how good the results are in the different models. But in general, if you use the medium model, you get just great results. So it's really good. And before, well, you could, to be honest, you could change the model by just tweaking it a little bit, but it was not easy. Now, with the downloader, everybody can do it. Yeah. So thank you to the Acon team to implement that, because we have really been asking for, and especially customers from Japan have been asking for better results in this process. But that's not the only thing. They also integrated a GPU support. So to have, and that's easy to understand, if you have a language model which is huge, you easily come to the point where it's getting really slow if only the CPU is rendering. So now with the new version, you're also able to activate the GPU renderer, which gives you really good results or perfect results in a fully acceptable speed, or sometimes even like super fast. So yeah, and maybe you have some news from the Untitled team as well, right? The beta which we are showing here.
Yeah. So we're working on a new update for Untitled Express, also bundled with EDIUS, and supporting the capability to edit MCC files. Yeah. So that will also expand the capability to edit subtitles better inside EDIUS, and so we're looking forward to that too.
Yeah, that's also really cool, and I have to say the combination of doing quick subtitles in all different languages. I mean, even like Greek was interesting because I've never done this before, but you see all the Greek signs or even Hebrew. It simply works, and people, they can read it and say, "Wow, this is good." Yeah. So we have the engine to do the speech to text. We have the audio editor, and we also have the subtitling tool, which is super fast. And of course, you can go more into details, but it's really like a few clicks and you have great results and you can continue working. So it's very nice to have those partners also.
And the nice part about it is that it all can be contained to the system. So we're not sending anything to the cloud. It's all processed internally, and using your local machine power. So that, I think, is also, makes it more comfortable for the user to get the benefits of AI, but also be able to, within the safety of your own machine.
Yeah. And then we are showing also the EDIUS Power Tools, which now become a part of the Setup Manager. You know, the EDIUS 11 Setup Manager is a tool from the EDIUS.NET team, which allows you to keep EDIUS 11 updated, but also the plugins, the bonus plugins, which comes with it. It's always checking if there's a new version, and it's checking sometimes for driver issues. It's able to really fix your system if there are problems. We are taking the feedback from the support team and integrating that into that solution to make it really easy to install and maintenance EDIUS. And there will be, we have it here as a beta version, there will be a right-click possibility on the tray icon, and then you can select Power Tools. And if you do that, a Windows opens up where you can create your own new functions in EDIUS. Now, it's a very easy question. Why do we do it? Alex, if I take like the last 2 months and all wishes we get from customers, how many wishes would we have then? Like 500? Can we implement 500 new features every 2 months?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So our
you should have said no, because if you do it in EDIUS, nobody will be able to use it, right? Because it's too many new functions. It will be very, nobody will find anything. So the idea is now to have the setup manager, to have the BUD server to allow you to create those functions which you really need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we're also hoping that people with development skills can also provide their own types of plugins and new functionalities into EDIUS. So the new platform would allow you to do that and also to be able to share that among multiple EDIUS and Mync clients.
Absolutely. So the BUD server is a technology given by the EDIUS.NET team. It's completely free, so you can just use it if you're using EDIUS 11. You also have a BUD server license. And you can create those additional features. And I just name a few. So beginning with very simple tasks, like you right-click on a clip and say, open this clip with, and then you select the application, like media info. Very simple function. Or you say, that's a little bit more special thing. You can make a trimmed version of a clip. Imagine you have like a 2 hours video in H.265 or H.264, and you just need a piece of it, so like 1 minute from that. Now with this function, you can just trim the clip on the timeline or even put it in the bin, and then you can export the trimmed version, but without re-encoding. So it will just like smart render the short part of it and will create a new file. The new file will probably not have the same in and out because the renderer is looking for the group of picture and it will always go for the iframe. But it's a very simple way of, without re-encoding, just make a short version of a longer clip. Yeah? Something like this is implemented. We have a fantastic, high-quality deinterlacer. So if you're still working with interlaced footage, you can clean that up. It will look great and progressive. I can say it's really slow, the conversion. We are using different FFmpeg models or functions for that, but the results are really nice. We have the possibility to create your own proxy. So even you can create a proxy file that's ProRes. We are using the hub. So what we are doing is we're generating a file, and this file is then linked in the EDIUS hub as the proxy file. Yeah, and so that means that EDIUS doesn't have to render the proxy. You will do that in the background while using that function, but for example, what's possible, you can edit 8K and have a 4K proxy, for example, in ProRes or in MPEG-2 or H.264. You can select different codecs. It's just an idea to say, okay, what can we do? And there are even more things. We have been talking about the possibility to have speech to text. Of course, you can go like the official way, going through Acoustica, and there you also have the possibility to like really work with your audio. But some people, they just say, oh, here's the clip. I just want to have a quick subtitle. And we have built that function as well. So you can simply add a function where you right-click on the clip, and it will generate you a SRT file, which you directly then can work with title. And I mean, for our trailer, I've done this demo now really often. For our trailer, it takes 4 seconds on our turnkey to generate a subtitle. And the subtitle is totally correct, except one thing. It says adios and not EDIUS because it's the tiny model. The tiny model doesn't know EDIUS. I think the large one and the medium-sized one, they know EDIUS. Yeah. It's easy to understand. I mean, EDIUS is not a typical English word, right? It's a special word. It's a trademark. So in the tiny one, it's not included. But you can use with title and just search for EDIUS, change it to EDIUS, and everything is fine. So 4 seconds to create subtitles for a 3.5 minutes long trailer. Also people, when I show it, they just, whoa, this is nice. And of course, this is English. So we have to say that the English language and is the easiest one for the language models because it's the one which is trained the most. But we did the tests here with Turkish, Hebrew, Greek, Latvian. And it's working really nice if you're then selecting a bigger language model. And you can do the same in the BUD server. You just have to change the library you are accessing. And we are using the same library as Aiken does. So if you're using the downloader now from Aiken, you can just use those libraries to do your text-to-speech functionality. We'll offer some training videos, how to work with the BUD server. I know that some customer will say, oh, that's too complicated. Yeah, you have to be able to program. I would say, if you look at it at the first view, maybe it's like this, but just think of your function, which you really want to have in EDIUS, done for you. You can build it your own, or you can get help from our team, from your reseller. And even if you have work which you have to do a lot, you're always working, we have the same process. And we have many customers here at the booth who were very excited to say, I always do this and this and this. Can you help me to automate that? Or they're using like a special MUM system. I want to send the markers somewhere and say, yeah, sure. With the API, that's now possible. And so EDIUS is really opening up totally for AI services, for the possibility to work together in a team, but also to work together with services and so on. So, Alex, as usual, I've been talking too much. I've been talking all day. Sorry. But I'm sure I have forgotten something which you would like to add in terms of, these services.
Well, no, I think you pretty much covered it. But it's very exciting that we have partners actually working on that. And we also hope to improve the platform side so that we can support more workflows, which can be accessed easily.
Yeah. Okay, and now maybe to the last part, which we announced in the beginning, our turnkey system, which we are showing here. So we'll do a separate video just about the turnkey system. In general, I think it's interesting that in the history, or I would say like forever in Japan, you have those turnkey system, and people normally are buying like the mobile turnkey system or the desktop, or even there are these like really high-end 8K systems. And you have very good experience with that, because if the hardware and the software is from one hand, it always is the best combination, right?
Yeah, the nice thing about turnkey is that it's supported as a package. And, if something happens with the hardware, you have people that can support you. So, I think definitely the value will be in the confidence towards the whole system.
Right, and that's a good point. So for the laptop, as this is a mobile version, we have a so-called travel service included. So if you are like, normally you live in, I don't know, Spain, and now you're traveling to London, and you're in London and something doesn't work, you can call, and within 24 hours somebody will come to your hotel and fix the laptop. So that's very nice in addition. So so we will continue with the next video. I think we make a link somewhere. Where do you have the link? This side maybe? Yeah, here. So here's the link to the video about the turnkey. And with this far too long interview where I was talking all the time, sorry. Best wishes from the IBC, and that was our lunch break.
Thank you.
Thank you.